Let me just say a few things about Jordan. Jordan is proof that something good can come out of Washington State. I had to do that. But see, since we got Jordan, we found all kind of new good things coming out of Washington State. Jordan is a blessing. Let me tell you something about Jordan. You talk about the scripture being faithful to help and do whatever, and that's Jordan. Jordan is one of our ministry school graduates, the only one to be a two-time graduate. He went through the school twice, not because he failed or struggled the first time. The Lord told him to do it twice because he wanted to get it down in him. He passed the first time, did fine, but really did even much better the second time. But Jordan loves the truth, and he is a researcher, and he is diligent. And we started talking about Operation Mockingbird. And some of you, I know some of you may have heard about it. Some of you may even know, some information about it. But it's important to know the whole story. And it's important to know how much the media and most of the government have brainwashed us. And it was been a long time plan. In my presentation, I don't know if are you going to talk about Cord Meyer? Do you have him in there? No. Well, this morning when I was going to talk about it, was going to kind of lead into Jordan's about Cord Meyer Jr., but I found out that the head of the CIA back then in the 40s and the early 50s was Allen Dulles. And he recruited this guy named Cord Meyer. And Cord Meyer Jr. had been the president of the World Federalist Organization and was at the UN founding and charter and was a world government pusher to push the UN to be a world government. The head of the CIA recruited Cord Meyer Jr. and he became the head operative of Operation Mockingbird. And he was a full-blown communist, socialist, and they knew it. They recruited him knowing he was a communist, knowing he was a New World Order, UN globalist agenda guy. And he is the one that infiltrated the media. He trained and oversaw the operatives placed into the media to brainwash us. Walter Cronkite was one of them, some of the others over the years. But that's why 99.9% of the media cannot be trusted. Sometimes they tell the truth, but it's always slanted to the side of communism, socialism, their New World Order agenda, because Satan has a lot of people working for it. So I've been looking forward to this. I hope it works. Hallelujah. Y'all, Jordan Winsor.
Actually, really quick. All right, y'all can hear me? It sounds weird hearing yourself, the speakers. I just want to pray first. All right, cool. Dear Lord Jesus, I thank you for this chance for all of us to just gather here today in fellowship and lift you up, celebrate you. I thank you that you are the way and the truth and the life. I just ask that you continue to just touch each and every single person here. I ask that the people that eventually watch all these presentations, that they're touched too, that lives are changed, that people come to you, people know salvation. Anyone that's lukewarm and backslidden, they no longer walk that walk of the prodigal. I just ask that your hand is not just on this presentation, but just on the whole conference, all day, tomorrow as well, Sunday, and even afterwards. Thank you, amen. All right, cool. Man, I'm blessed to be here right now. I can't tell you the attacks that each and every single speaker gets and goes through, and I'm pretty sure even a lot of you have been attacked as well just trying to get here. And if you haven't gone through your spiritual attacks yet, I already know you're going to when you get home. Not trying to word curse you, I just know how Satan operates, and I know what's going to happen this conference. I know how he likes to retaliate whenever a blessing of God happens. So pray up, be prepared for that. All right, so I started off with this FBI logo. We've all seen it. And I just had to put it in the presentation because I will be full of criticism. There will be some news reportings, some teaching, and some parody, and that's everything that this covers. The other thing I really started thinking about it is the only way the FBI or any form of the government can protect you or guarantee you privacy or anything is their nonchalant way of saying they own it. They own the media. That's just what it is, okay? So let's just jump right into it. Exodus 34:19. All that openeth the matrix is mine, and every firstling among thy cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is mine. My presentation was going to be something different. And then out of nowhere, God kind of presented this verse to me, and last week I scrapped the whole presentation, and I started all over. And this is what it is. Navigating the matrix. What I love about the Matrix is it's all about us living in a false reality. The Bible says that Satan deceiveth the whole world. We've all seen the Truman Show, where Christoph says, he's asking, how can Truman, live this lie? And Christoph is like, it's simple. Like, we accept the reality in which we've been presented. Well, we've been presented a lie since the beginning. It's not just through school. Most of it's through media. And the thing about the Matrix is the whole thing is digital. It's all digital warfare. TV, radio, news articles, it's all a form of media. It's all digital warfare. And the thing about this movie is when they come out of the Matrix, they don't actually come out. They always have to go back in. You can be woke all you want. You're still living in the Matrix. So this is more about navigating through the lies. And I think I'm starting off with a video. Yes, I am. And I want you to see how important it is that you be on your toes. All right? Because this works on everybody. All right?
I invited 2 members of MBA, an advertising agency, to a secret location to propose an unusual task. Those who work in advertising are masters of persuasion. They subtly weave their images and slogans into our daily lives, knowing that we will register so much unconsciously. And then we walk into a supermarket and feel a sense of familiarity with a product we think we've never heard of. Millions of pounds a year are spent on it. It's brilliantly calculated, and we all fall for it. So I thought I'd turn the tables on the advertising experts. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Tony, yes?
Yes, that's right.
And Martin?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Darren. Let me get down to explaining exactly what I want you to do. Imagine that I'm opening a chain of stores selling a product, something I have a particular interest in. Your task is to come up with a poster advertising that store. And that poster must include the company name, whatever you decide that may be. It must include a strap line, some sort of slogan, and some kind of logo as well, some kind of visual image.
Sure.
Now the idea is you've only got half an hour to do this, so you've got to really work with your first instinct. So at the moment, you've got no idea what you're going to do, correct?
No.
Excellent. I'm also going to give you this. I've had a few design ideas of my own.
Okay.
I want to leave this untouched. We'll come back to that later. All right? Are there any questions?
What's the product?
What's the product? Very good question. Passion of mine since I was a toddler. It's a chain of taxidermy stores.
Ooh.
Let me pop the pussycat on the envelope so it remains untouched. You have half an hour, gentlemen. Good luck.
Great, thanks. Right, let's go for it.
Get stuffed as a start.
Right. Animal Hospital, the ones who didn't make it. No, that's probably just stupid.
To do with wings.
Well, creatures great and small. Quality that says like nice, positive type dead animals. Animal heaven. Where animals go.
Animal heaven, that's good.
Graveyard.
Animal heaven's good.
Animal heaven.
Where the best animals go to.
Loads of clouds with animals on them.
Yeah,
Gates,
harps,
pearly gates,
gates.
bear playing a harp.
Yeah. Only the best
Zoo.
get in. Only the best get into our.
Yeah. Where dead animals go to live. Where the best.
It's the best place for dead animals. It's simple.
Time up, gentlemen.
Okay.
I can't wait to see what you've done. Come and show me.
Okay.
And Tony, before we do this, can you take the envelope I gave you earlier? And
Okay.
can you please vouch for us here that no one's been anywhere near it. He's been under a dead cat. No one's touched it.
That's right.
That's the truth.
That's
That's the
correct.
truth.
Keep hold of it. Come around here. Now, before we have a look at it, just tell me, what was it like?
We started off thinking about the name. I thought that was we thought that was probably
Yeah,
the best thing to
the
do.
starting point.
Sure.
And then take it from there. Really, we banged out a lot of ones that were probably completely stupid, and then got down to the ones that were slightly stupid, and then we kind of that went back
Yeah.
and forth for a bit, and then kind of got something we liked and developed it.
Can I have a look?
Sure.
Sure.
Is this it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. it's a bear with a lyre.
So it's animal heaven, the best place for dead animals.
And it's obviously you'd see that it was stuffed.
How did you come up with the name Animal Heaven?
We had the idea of the pearly gates of heaven being the zoo gates.
Zoo gates as the gates of heaven. That's interesting.
i.e.
Yeah.
sort of all the animals that are dead are in a dead zoo, if you like, in heaven. And then we just kind of thought, well, it's kind of nice, but it's a bit twee. We wanted to make it a bit funkier. And then we thought a hard-playing bear just answered the brief.
That's fantastic. I do want to show you my own ideas from beforehand.
Okay.
I don't want to touch. Would you open them for me?
Sure.
And the winner is...
I think you'll find this interesting.
Okay.
Get rid of the envelope.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
All right. Not a million miles away. Let me put this up there. Hang on to that.
Yeah.
It's a harp-playing bear.
Yeah.
God.
You've gone for these angel wings here. Were you thinking of angel wings or bird wings?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they were kind of a combination.
You
of
do
the
them a
two.
lot better than me. This was the same thing. I was thinking angel wings there. You've got animal heaven. I got creature heaven.
Yeah. So you're,
We're the best-
You're a bit off there then.
A bit off there.
That's okay.
Where the best dead animals go. Did you
God.
put blessed place for dead animals?
Wow.
Very similar. I had the idea of a zoo gate on there.
It was hard to
We
leave
didn't,
out.
we didn't overload
It was
it.
hard to leave out, but
Sure.
it just wasn't. It was just a bit too much.
Can I see your other, the other one you were talking
Yeah,
about?
put
Is
it
it one
yeah,
of
down.
the-
Yeah, it's just before there.
Is it very different?
Well,
Well, it's just the gates.
yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, please.
I'm drawing quite similar.
Look at that. This was the image I was thinking. I've done it there in the background because this to me was the more striking image. And interestingly, you abandoned this for this one. This was
Yeah.
obviously
Well,
clear in your mind.
the first bear I drew looks exactly like that one, actually.
It did, yeah.
The first bear you drew.
Yeah,
Just on the
shall I
pad
show
there.
you on the notes?
Show me.
like that,
Show
yeah.
me. What have you got?
Well, this is scary, really. But,
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. You've got the cloud. You got the blue. If you knew the amount of effort we've gone into making this work, you'd be absolutely flabbergasted. But for now, it's comforting to know that you're just as susceptible to subliminal persuasion as the rest of us. Thank you very much for helping us out. Tony,
Thank you.
Martin,
It's a pleasure.
take care. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye-bye.
I think I'm quite cynical. And when I saw the bear and I saw a cloud, first of all, from behind the paper, I thought, hang on, he's close here. And then when we saw the rest of it, I couldn't believe it.
I immediately thought, oh, I'm gutted. I could see that it was folded, and I just saw the bear's foot hanging over the cloud with the harp.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, it was
And
gutted.
how embarrassing.
But now I think, oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I'm over the moon.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're pleased for him,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
yeah, as long as, if he comes out of this looking good, then that's, that's always the main thing.
To see how we did it, watch their taxi journey again.
Put a spell on you. Cause you're mine. You better stop the things you do. I ain't lying. No, I ain't lying.
I like that they played that song at the end because that's witchcraft, by the way. Control, manipulation. We all know what the Bible says about witchcraft, right? Well, the media has been used to brainwash all y'all. It's witchcraft. And that was just a simple taxi ride. Whenever you turn on your phone, your TV, even open up a newspaper, you ever think about just all the subliminals, all the advertisements? Some people, they wonder why they still struggle with the flesh, and they're not even looking for things. It's what they're being primed for in the stupid shows they watch. Some people wonder why their marriages don't work, and then they're hoping that they had a marriage kind of like that couple on TV. There's so many different things that goes on in the media. One of the things I forgot to talk about really quick when it comes to my presentation is I'm kind of ADHD. And so if you've guys ever done a connect the dots before, this presentation is going to be like a connect the dots without the numbers. But you'll all create a picture of your own. You all come to your own conclusion. Let's continue, all right? I got some scriptures right here. Yes. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as of others which have no hope. I like that one because so many people consider themselves woke, and this is having us not being ignorant of those who are asleep. This one right here, though, is one I really want to get to, because this is what really matters, and this is what the whole theme is going to be based upon, really. His watchmen, how many truthers consider themselves to be watchmen? His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Are they woke? They think they're woke. I call them inception truthers. They're still dreaming, right? If you've ever seen that movie, I love that movie. I watched it last night. I fall asleep to that movie all the time. Probably shouldn't. There's probably a lot of programming in it. But does it sound like the Bible condones you to be ignorant? No. Let's continue. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. And then Matt Long actually quoted this verse earlier, and I thought that's kind of cool. But in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red. Or was it you that, I think it's Matt Long. Okay, yeah. Lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the faces of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? Do you think the Bible ever teaches that we're to throw the baby out with the bathwater? Or are we supposed to discern? Because I'll tell you what, there's truth in the media. The truther movement is full of truth. Mainstream news is full of truth. All right, not every Republican is a Satanist, is bought out and sold out. Every single person in power is not bought out and sold out. It's our job to distinguish, to discern. And this is important. You know, the Bible says that there's going to be a king of the north and a king of the south that rise up against the Antichrist, kings. Not everyone in power is a sellout, okay? So we're to discern. And I say that because, actually, really quick, sorry, that this is actually going to be over the Italian gate thing. I say that because I don't want to be booted off. It's not graphic, but I was actually really surprised that this was on mainstream news. And you have to understand, mainstream will tell you the truth. So many people are like, oh, fake news, fake news, fake news. No, we're to discern. There's real and there's false, okay?
Your story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support this story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing to some people. But this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. Now, to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a DC pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is, that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alfantis, is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now, this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now, to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alfantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. 2 of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alfantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago. He was referred to by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes. And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now keep in mind, again, there is no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a DC pizza parlor. Investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place? That's Reality Check. Let's talk about it on Twitter.
If he sounded weird, it's because I'm trying to get past all the AI bots. So I've tweaked with every single video. I've either slowed them down, sped them up, and I've kind of changed a few things, okay? But isn't it crazy that mainstream news would actually cover that? There is truth. There's always going to be truth. But what you're going to learn throughout this presentation is that it doesn't matter unless they speak of one truth, okay? Because you're supposed to discern. And then you're also going to learn that there are other people that speak that truth that are just shills, honestly. They're agents. And we're going to this video right here, because I'm going to say agent a lot. And I need you to understand what an agent is, at least to me. Okay?
Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again. Who is it?
This isn't the Matrix.
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
Sentient programs. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
That reminds me of a verse. You see, he said, anyone that has not been unplugged from the Matrix is potentially an agent. Look at the scripture. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. There are 4 kinds of characters you learn about in the Matrix. Your Agent Smith. To me, that's your principalities, your powers, your rulers of darkness, your fallen angels, your demons, the ones that control the Matrix. Polar to him, down, diagonal, you have the crowd, the world. Everyone that's still plugged in, that can still be used by these principalities. Then you have your Morpheuses. To me, those are the born-again Christians, the true born-again Christians, trying to witness, trying to do God's work, trying to wake people up to the lies, and diagonal from him. These are the people we're going to be talking about today. These are the people that we're going to be exposing today. These are the people that ruin everything. They are the ones that muddy the water. This dude's name is Cypher, and he was woke. He left the Matrix, and he still worked for the agent. Likewise, he was still an agent. I don't care how woke he was still in the Matrix. And I say this because I'm in the truther movement. I navigate through these groups all day long, and I can't tell you the absurd things that I see spoken. And what I find even more absurd is so many people latch on to this stuff. And they don't understand it's all Operation Mockingbird. They don't understand a lot of this stuff is coming from AI. They don't understand that a lot of this is just propelled by agents, people that know the truth, but they hate Jesus. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. I've learned a few things within the past couple years. I no longer interpret the Bible according to the world. I interpret the world according to the Bible. And that's something that everyone, if you want to escape the Matrix, you need to grasp that, okay? So what is a sock puppet? A sock puppet is an online identity used for purposes of deception. The term is referenced to manipulate of a simple hand puppet made from a sock, originally referred to as a false identity assumed by a member of an internet community who spoke to or about themselves while pretending to be another person. Then it continues. The use of the term has expanded to now include other misleading uses of online identities, such as those created to praise, defend, support a person, organization, manipulate public opinion. You're going to notice I use Wikipedia a lot. And the reason for that is because I can just grab from a Christian source, but I'd rather expose to the world through their own eyes, through what they consider to be a valuable source. And they cite their sources as well. So that's a sock puppet. I'll show you a sock puppet, a real sock puppet, because so many of you know him. His name is Alex Jones. I don't know where each and every single one of you are in your walk. I don't know how woke some of you are, quote unquote woke. I don't know what you've learned, what you don't, who out there knows what in the internet world. So I kind of have to cover certain bases, okay? but you need to see this.
Telling you what I'm being told.
So you're telling me to cut the camera off on a public place. There's a fire station right here. This is the old airport. I'm right here. Are you telling me to cut the camera off?
I'm telling you what she's asking.
What's her name? Told me to turn the camera off.
I'll give you her phone number if you want.
Yes, I do want the phone number.
Do you have some ID with you that you would?
Yes, I sure do.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, come on over here. But I want this camera on at all times for documentation.
Who do you work with? Can I see it? Can I mind if I take it?
No, I do not want you taking my wallet.
I just want to move your hand so I can see it.
No, sir.
I'm not going to take your wallet.
Right there, right there.
You work for Time Warner Cable?
Right there.
Is that who you work for?
I work for Alex Jones. Who do you work for?
You work for President?
I work for InfoWars. INFOWARS.com. It's a website.
InfoWars.com. Okay, that's what I'm asking, so I can tell who you work for.
So they don't like us filming the work they're doing out here. Is that what you're?
Seriously, we're here with Jeff Davis. I want to say one thing. Thanks to his producer, who's almost as good as Eric Gerstenberg, my fantastic producer. They said Eric's one of their best producers for how quick he's learned. He's doing a fantastic job. But your producer, Mike Hansen, up here filming this, is going to be on television. He's got a...
Yeah, well, let me just mention real quick. What do you call it down here? Time Warner?
Yeah, Time Warner Cable.
Time Warner. If you got also Cablevision.
Time Warner.
We have a access program that's hot, folks, hot.
Now, you got to plug mine now.
Monday nights, 7:30 p.m. on Channel 10. And if you like what we're talking about on here...
Alex Jones works for Time Warner. Came out of his mouth, it came out of one of his employees' mouths. What does that mean? Well, did you know that there are 6 companies that own almost all media, and this was in 2016? Okay, I'll show you another article. How about that? Okay, Business Insider did this. Is a more mainstream. I mean, every Fortune 500 company, it doesn't matter. They all read Business Insider. The illusion of choice, it says, media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants now control a staggering 90%. This was in America 2012, right? So, I mean, this has been going on for a long time. What do you think it is now? Let's continue consolidation, 1983 to 2011, but here we are, these 6 companies, 3 sixes, it is Satan's world. These 6 companies are GE, News Corp, Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, who Alex Jones works for, and CBS. Says 232 media executives control the information of 277 million Americans. That's one media exec to 850,000 subscribers. Television, the big 6 control 70% of your cable. Comcast, NBC merger guarantees, you get it. Radio, in 1995, the FCC forbid companies to own over 40 stations, yet Clear Channel owns 1,200 stations. They don't even follow their own laws, right? What's the golden rule? Whoever has the gold makes the rules, right? So, I looked into who the CEO of Time Warner is, and Jeff Books stepped down as CEO of Time Warner while retaining ties with the company as senior advisor of AT&T. John Stankey, what a horrible name, I'm sorry. Stankey, who headed the AT&T Time Warner integration team, took over as CEO. I looked into to him a little bit. It says, since June 2018, Stankey has been the CEO of Warner Media, which owns various media film corporations, including Warner Bros., HBO, Turner Broadcasting System, and CNN. Fake news. So CNN and Alex Jones are working together. That's what I just read. Here we go. Robert A. Iger, also known as Bob Iger, he's the CEO of Disney right now. Says Iger co-chaired a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. All right. And I found this weird. Iger avoids all carbs except pizza, which he seeks out everywhere in the world. Why would they put that in Wiki? I mean, it's just, come on now. But they have to tell you the truth. Here we go. Variety is out with its list of highest paid CEOs in the entertainment industry. The top 3 of the list are all Democrat donors. Summer Redstone, executive chairman of CBS and Viacom, pulled in $93.4 million this past fiscal year. He refers to himself as a liberal Democrat. and he has been an active donor to the Democratic Party since the 1970s. Leslie Moniz came behind Redstone. He's been paying off the Democrats as well, and he says, I run a news division. I've given no money to any candidate, as he waited in line to get into a Los Angeles event where President Barack Obama spoke in front of a crowd celebrating his change of heart on gay marriage. And you got Lionsgate, CEO, la-di-la-di-la-da. I want to show you who these people pay allegiance to. Okay, because one of the false things being propagated right now in the truther movement is that Trump is the Antichrist, is that he is bought out. You can't trust him. You know, that there's no, votes don't count. That's what, listen, if votes did not count, there'd be no need for these Satanists to infiltrate both the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. If votes did not count, they would not be trying so hard to push for mail-in voting. You understand, votes do count. People need to understand this, okay? They don't want him in there. Like, I promise you 100%, and we're going to dig into this a little bit more, but you see, Isaiah 45, I always think about that because King Cyrus was not for Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, Jesus, right? But his heart changed. Isaiah 45, Trump's the 45th president. I find that striking. All right, Pastor Dean mentioned earlier the red horse is communism. Where are we right now? This election determines communism or freedom. And it's funny how the whole world seems to be in agreement that Trump needs to be out. The Bible told me not to go with what the world says. I actually believe that he was put here by God, because when I read Daniel 7, it says that the eagle was plucked out of the lion. And then when I read Revelation 13, all these beasts from Daniel 7 come together to make a one world government that becomes red, communist, and you don't find the eagle in there. Just think about that. If you're on the edge about Trump, just think about that. All right? So Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, that began in the early years of the Cold War. According to author Deborah O. Davis, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. CIA support front groups was exposed in 1967 in the Ramparts magazine, which eventually it blew up, and they actually had to have an investigation. It's called the Church Committee. And I'm not going to get into all of it, but you'll see. Here we go. This, you see up there, is actually the CIA.gov library reading room doc CIA. Okay, this is, I've been going through government documents too. CIA will tell Hill of journalists' help. It actually says right there on the right-hand side, middle, it says, he said committee investigators will examine stories written by journalists on the CIA payroll to see whether a journalist was a kept man or woman and whether he or she had any obligation to write what was written. Well, they're on the payroll, I think they do. Here we go. Intelligence.senate.gov, CIA's use of journalists and clergy in the intelligence operation. This is a select committee hearing, and this was July 17th, 1996. It's no longer the 60s, it's no longer the 70s, 80s, 90s, or mid-90s, but it hasn't stopped, even after these investigations. So we all know that CNN is fake news. Here's Anderson Cooper. We all know who he is. This is what you can read about him. During college, Cooper spent 2 summers as an intern at the Central Intelligence Agency while studying political science. He pursued journalism with no formal journalistic education right afterwards. Strikingly weird. But we're all woke. We don't watch CNN. We'd much rather watch Fox because Tucker Carlson's funny and he's cool, right? Tucker Carlson, he was a CNN commenter from 2000 to 2005. It also says that after college, Carlson tried to join the CIA, but his application was denied, after which he decided to pursue a career in journalism. Coincidence much? Are you familiar with the term gatekeepers? You see, a lot of times we get prideful and we forget that not everyone is woke like we are. They're not on the same page as we are. The gatekeepers, they're put in place because they know people are going to start waking up. In the last days, Jesus is going to pour out his Spirit on all flesh. These people exist to stop people in the midst of a wake-up. You start to wake up that communism is bad, you got Tucker Carlson and you won't go any further. Wake up to 9/11, you're not going to go any further because you have Alex Jones. They don't speak the full truth. But much more than that, they actually ridicule other truths. Either that or they make themselves look super crazy so that people don't want to pursue those truths. And that's what Operation Mockingbird is about, as you will begin to see. The Washington Standard, this is October 2nd, 2020. CIA Mockingbirds are confessing their lies. One even said that it was his job to make anti-vaxxers appear wacko. When you go on websites now, it tells you, it's a 2-minute read, a 5-minute read. This was a 10-minute read. I'm not going to go through it, but I'll tell you what is summed up. He propagated that vaccines were bad and completely made himself look retarded and stupid. Sorry about that. I don't mean, but that's what he did. He gave anti-vaxxers a bad name. It's kind of like all those truthers out there that say every single person in Hollywood is a transvestite. You know what I'm talking about? I see them all the time. All right, that's why they exist. So here we go, some more government documents. This is it says WAR for Weekly Activity Report from the Air Force. It's the LA Entertainment Office. They have their own office. You just need to know this, okay? Here we go, key events upcoming up. Disney's Fairy Tale Wedding. Why is the Air Force even involved in something like this? This isn't a war movie. And you have to understand the DOD, the Army, the Navy, all these people, they work directly with Hollywood. And people think that is just because they lend them tanks or battle cruisers or helicopters. No, they don't. That's one of the reasons. But it's much deeper than that. And all this is blacked out, and if you click on one of those, I get this message: this project has not been released, FOI exempted, yada, 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 yada. I'm running out of time. I got to keep going. Here we go. Here's some more Disney. Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, First Man, Chain of Command, Pitch Perfect. Interesting, Pitch Perfect, a stupid little singing movie. Here we go. Weekly activity report from the Air Force again. Master Chef. Yeah, that's right. I've found stuff saying that the DOD is part of Cupcake Wars. You don't understand the stuff that I showed you, how easy it is for you to be programmed, right? They don't care what you watch. There's something in everything to lead you astray. How and why the DOD works with Hollywood. This is defense.gov. They have it right on their website. This isn't no government document. The Defense Department has a long-standing relationship with Hollywood. In fact, it's been working with filmmakers for nearly 100 years. Hey, by the way, did you know Hollywood was actually established by communists? If you have the chance, my original presentation was going to be about the Frankfurt School, and is going to be about the Macy's Conference. The Frankfurt School was set up in the 1930s by a bunch of German communists. They created this thing called critical thinking, critical theory, social theory, and it was about how to infiltrate and turn nations communist. And I mentioned that because when you see who founded that, who was part of that, all those people were the ones that began to lead Hollywood. All you have to do is go back. The Macy's Conference is done in New York in the 1959 to around 1940 to around 1960 by a whole bunch of psychologists and philosophers and mathematicians. They created a thing called cybernetics. Cybernetics is basically taking a human being and analyzing them like they are a machine. Cause and effect, how to figure out how to push someone to act a certain way by pushing what buttons. And they implemented all this stuff. The CIA, you mentioned Dulles, he is part of that. You can look it up. That's what my other presentation was going to be about, but it's just too much. But for 100 years, hey, same thing, the Defense Department has a long-standing relationship with Hollywood, yada, yada, yada. We take both roles seriously, so on and so forth. Military liaisons work mostly with unscripted projects. There will always be large-scale scripted projects like the recent 12 Strong, The Long Road, blah, 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 blah. But there are also a lot of unscripted projects that require DoD attention, such as documentaries on the History and Discovery channels, game shows like Jeopardy, The Price is Right. They also have military-themed episodes, talk shows like Ellen, Steve, Harvey, Conan. Yeah, no, they've been part of Hollywood. They've been part of everything for quite some time. Operation Earnest Voice is an astrosurfing campaign by the federal government of the United States. The aim of the initiative is to use sock puppets. That's where I discovered sock puppets. So the United States, they're the ones that create sock puppets to spread pro-American propaganda on social networking services based outside of the U.S. That's why they created them, to create propaganda for any website or anything that speaks a foreign language. Well, when you really think about it, Facebook offers foreign languages. But we'll skip this. We'll skip this. 50 users operate 10 sock puppets. You can come back and you can watch this and as you slow it down, look at the documents, or you can just check them out yourself. So the Smith-Mundt Act, the U.S. Information and Education Exchange Act of 1948, Public Law 8402, popularly called the Smith-Mundt Act, is the basic legislative authorization for propaganda activities conducted by the U.S. Department of State, sometimes called public diplomacy. The act was first introduced by Congress Carl E. Mundt back in 1945. It was passed by the 80th Congress and signed into law by Harry S. Truman. What the Smith-Mundt Act was, it legalized propaganda in foreign countries to make us look good. But you see that the Smith-Mundt Act, Modernization Act of 2012, under Obama, which was contained with the National Defense Authorization Act of fiscal year 2013, a spending bill, they changed the law with the spending bill, amended the United States Information and Educational Exchange Act of 1948 into Foreign Relations, allowing for materials produced by the State Department and Broadcasting Board of Governors, BBG, to be available within the United States. Now they're allowed to spread propaganda in the United States. It is law. It is legal. The media, I circled this, the media and outreach coordinator for the U.S. State Department's Bureau of African Affairs, Garland, I guess, noted that the United States shoots itself in the foot by release prohibition of materials produced by the State Department and the BBG within U.S. borders and by preaching freedom of the press abroad while practicing censorship at home. So not only are they programming you, but they're censoring you. And he says that they're shooting themselves in the foot. Let's see, CIA secret funding, cutouts. Let's see, Ralph, a former CIA officer, stated that the CIA, this is funny, often placed news stories anonymously in news publications to spread false ideas favorable to CIA goals. Stories that the CIA planted might be picked up and further spread by additional newspapers. Propaganda thus planted by the CIA to shape public opinion could circle back and contaminate the CIA's own information files. An example given by McGee, based on his own experiences, the CIA fabrication in 1965 of a story about weapon shipments sent by sea to the Viet Cong in a CIA effort to prove foreign support for the Viet Cong. The CIA took tons of communist-made weapons from its own warehouses, loaded them on a Vietnamese coastal vessel, faked a firefight, and called in Western reporters to prove North Vietnamese aid to the Viet Cong. The story got picked up by other news sources, so much so that the Marines later began to patrol the coast because of our own actions. So you'll notice that the date on this, October 16th. What's today's date? This is recent news. YouTube follows Twitter and Facebook with 98 anon. I say 98 because you add 98, you get 17, which is a letter. I'm not trying to be censored. But trust me, because all these videos, not just videos, channels are disappearing. You need to understand this. That's Northern State Journal. Here we go, BuzzFeed. YouTube just announced a partial ban on 98 anon ban. Here we go, YouTube follows Facebook in banning. Why do they feel the need to keep banning this? Because so many people in the truther movement keep saying that there's nothing to this. But how many of them can you trust? How many of them are ciphers? They say they're woke. They seem to say the right things. Earth is flat, right? Some of them even say that Jesus is God. That's cool and all. I remember that there was a lady saying that Jesus was God too, walking around with Paul, and then he rebuked her because she was filled with the spirit of divination. She wasn't a true born-again Christian. I don't care what they say, you need discernment. And discernment is not hearing what you want to hear, and discernment is not hearing something and it feels right. That's not how it goes. Isaac heard words and it felt right, so he gave Jacob the blessing that was supposed to go to his brother Esau because he did not practice discernment. You cannot make judgments based off of feelings. So this is what they're banning. This is why they're taking down videos. I'm not playing the whole thing. And like I said, I changed voices and I did other things, and it's going to look a little funky, and you're only getting a quick clip. But you have to understand why so many things are coming apart and why the news is actually being filled with Biden's son's laptop, because that's not the real story. This is.
My friends, we have a bombshell news report, a whistleblower, a CIA whistleblower, dropping hard evidence that implicates Biden, Obama, Hillary, Brennan, that they actually executed SEAL Team 6 and covered it up, and there is audio, video, and documentary proof. Now, before I get into this, if you're new here, go ahead and tap that red button down below to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when the latest news breaks. Now, Anna Kate, she'll be joining me in just a moment. She tweeted out yesterday, and now the story is going viral across the web. She said, breaking, Alan Harrow Perot, CIA whistleblower, tells Charles Woods, the father of Tyrone Woods, who was killed in Benghazi, that Obama and Biden sent $152 billion as a cover-up for the deaths of SEAL Team 6. Alan said all of the proof will come out, documents and audio. Now, I'm going to play you the video that's attached here, okay, video of the whistleblower's own words. But first, let's get some background. Carrie Donovan from DJHJ Media reports that the full interview of the CIA whistleblower interviewed by Charles Woods and Nicholas Snow surfaced on Sunday, where the three talk about the blackmail extortion of $152 billion sent to Iran to cover up the deaths of SEAL Team 6 by the Obama administration. Perot has extensive experience with the intelligence community, and he's planning on releasing the documents this week on what he said are going to uncover numerous crime sprees. Now, I personally have confirmation that the whistleblower evidence is now in the hands of a member of Congress with the means to take action.
That's some big stuff. That's some major stuff. Now, I only got a couple minutes left, so I'm not going to go through this one thing, but this was one of the things that I really wanted to crack into. Now, actually, what you're going to be seeing on the screen is a photocopy, because the highlights you're going to see, the notes you're going to see is actually me. I scanned it, put it in there, okay? But for those of you who do not know what Operation Northwoods is, this is a good crash course, and I recommend you actually look into this yourself. Read the whole document. Okay? Let's see. Brief but precise description of pretext. Pretext, which would provide justification for U.S. military intervention into Cuba. Okay, so it's already premeditated. This is what they're saying. They're saying it's premeditated. It is assumed that a single agency will be given the primary responsibility for developing military and paramilitary aspects of the basic plan. So they're planning this out, okay? Pretext, which they consider would provide justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. That's the goal. You see right there, it says Operation Mockingbird, or Mongoose, hit the bottom. And Operation Mongoose was just a plan to infiltrate Cuba and just overthrow the dictator there and set up their own dictator. All right, Operation Mongoose, that's highlighted. Brief but precise description of pretext, which the Joint Chiefs of Staff consider would provide justification, yada, 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 yada. Okay, this plan is highlighted, check mark above it. We're going to just read the highlighted parts. Such a plan would enable a logical buildup of incidents to be combined with other seemingly unrelated events to camouflage the ultimate objective and create a necessary impression of Cuban rashness and irresponsibility on a large scale. So I underlined it. Is it task 33? I thought that was kind of a Freemasonic, had to kind of point that out. Harassment plus deceptive actions to convince the Cubans of imminent invasion would be emphasized. How do you think that they're going to convince them? Allow a rapid change from exercise to intervention. It says a series of well-coordinated incidents will be planned to take place in and around Guantanamo to give genuine appearance of being done by hostile Cuban forces. So this is what we'd consider red flags, false flags, crisis actors, and you'll see crisis actors. Here we go. Start rumors. Use clandestine radio. So they're going to push propaganda through the radio. Land friendly Cubans in uniforms over the fence to stage attack on base. Over the fence as in on our side. Friendly Cubans, crisis actors, stage an attack here. George Floyd much? Capture Cuban friendly, quote unquote, saboteurs inside the base. Friendly, once again, crisis actors. Start riots near the base main gate. Friendly Cubans. Sounds kind of familiar. Blow up ammunition inside the base, start fires, burn aircrafts, so that they're willing to destroy their own stuff. La la la. Conduct funerals for mock-up victims. That's number 11. Conduct funerals for mock victims. These people didn't die. But how many deaths have you heard about on the news that are probably not real, and they've started a riot and they've pushed an agenda? United States would respond by executing offensive operations. So they're telling you cause and effect. It's a Hegelian dialective by executing their premeditated plan. It says we could blow up a U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay. Blame Cuba. We could blow up a drone, unmanned vessels, anywhere. I start to think of 9/11. Here we go. This one right here. We could sink a boatload of Cubans en route to Florida, real or simulated. They don't care. They don't care. They're talking about firing on our own land, about staging events on our own land, killing. They don't care about you. All right, there's a satanic agenda going on. Just read the whole document, okay? There's a lot that's with it. Now, I called it navigating the matrix. We all know this scene. Neo's waking up. And see how he's up in this pod with all these other fetuses? When we go back to that verse I started with, the matrix, Hebrew, it's Rakim. And you see it's the womb. That's what it means. You know, it really kind of come to, this is why I changed the whole entire presentation. It's because of that. It's because of this. Jesus answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. You want to escape the matrix, you got to be born again. You need Jesus. Pilate saith unto him, what is truth? And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, the life. You want that spirit of discernment? Because did you know discernment is a gift from the Holy Spirit? Quite literally, it's listed as one of the gifts, discerning of spirits. Is it a lying spirit? You know, so I got to stress this too, because I know the Holy Spirit's going to be dumping out today, and I want everyone to start to gain that spirit of discernment, to start thinking for themselves. But that gift, and I've said it multiple times, that gift does not matter if you are not obedient. So if I were you, I'd also pray for an obedient heart, and I'd diligently seek it. And it matters, because I got two more things. This one matters, and then I'm going to just play out this small little, 3-minute clip. It's kind of funny, truth in plain sight. And when it ends, I'm not going to be on stage. So, but this is why you need discernment.
To help families refinance their homes, to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
You see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
It's sort of learning to recreate that person's face by looking at thousands of images over and over and over. Like a lot more research than you would think would go into making a goofy video or something like that.
Truly surprising for me. Yeah, I was just really surprised.
I didn't do any after touching on that video. I was just using the technology that was available from the machine learning side.
You don't even have to know what GitHub is. You don't have to know how to program in Python. None of that matters. You pay somebody $20 and they'll create the fake for you. That's a bit of a game changer.
You know, the everyday person who the deep fake sex video emerges in a Google search of your name, where for that person, it becomes almost impossible to debunk.
While I don't think that's likely, I also don't think it's out of the question. And that is enough to keep me up at night. The margins are very, very thin. The last national election here in the US was 80,000 votes in 3 states. You don't have to fool tens of millions of people.
I don't think a deepfake will become a big political issue during the course of the campaign. Think about a well-placed rumor before an IPO. I think a lot of these things were problems already. And so it's unclear to me how much machine learning really, adds to those problems. I find it very difficult to sort of believe that there is something so uniquely devastating about video.
Right now, what we are focusing on is developing forensic techniques to protect world leaders from deepfakes. We are particularly worried about how the Donald Trumps, Theresa May, and Angela Merkel's of the world, how their likeness will be used to disrupt elections and incite potential violence in countries by creating fake content. There's some fun and entertaining and interesting applications, but there is a weaponization of the technology. And I simply advocate that we as technologists, we acknowledge it, and we start thinking not after the fact, but before the fact, how can we start putting some safeguards in place?
Said that the Department of Defense is now working with them to prevent. They've said a lot of things. Maybe prevent something from going the way they don't want it to go. I think it's time to shut off the TV. I think it's time to shut off our phones. I'm talking about myself too. I love Call of Duty. My KD is amazing. I will go 2-20. Okay. But I could be in the Word. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's time that we all kind of escape the matrix. Because we don't know what's going to be put out there anymore. We can't trust it. There's so many fake identities, and there's so many people out there that think they're woke. Deceivers being deceived in the last days. Some people, they genuinely believe what they're saying, and they're not trying to deceive you. It's just they've already been deceived. If you haven't come to the full truth, you are an agent. I don't care if it's for the government or not. All right, so that's what it's about. Like I said, I'm going to play this last little funny thing, but I'm going to be off the stage. God bless everyone.
I'm sure you're wondering why Agent Kelly and the United States government would be so interested in what appears to be a record company. Well, I'm about to show you why. This is what our operation really does. Blue is the new orange. This is where it starts. The fads, the fashions, the product placement. From this command center, we control the most influential demographic of the entire population. We decide everything, from what clothes are in style to what slang is in vogue. Feather tank tops, matching pants, kind of a Buffy meets chicken run.
Feathers are the new rhinestones.
The new word for cool would be jerkin. As in, dude, that's jerkin. Ooh, that's dirty. This is the epicenter of all trends. We turn your world into one giant TV commercial. But how, you may ask, can our operation be so effective? Sure, these kids have brains like Play-Doh just waiting to be molded into shape, but something else must be going on, right? The Chinese guy knows what I'm talking about. To answer some of your questions, we've produced a short educational film. Lights!
Hello, I'm Eugene Levy, and yes, I'm an actor. No, I said cappuccino. I'm here to talk to you about something very important. No, it's not about me or my career. I'm here to talk about subliminal messages in rock and roll music, or as it's simply known in some cultures, rock music. You see, for years, the government has been wisely coercing teenagers to buy products they normally wouldn't want just to get their money. Fact, kids don't have bills to pay. Fact, they don't pay taxes, but they do babysit and hold minimum wage jobs that earn them wads of cash as thick as, well, my body of work. But these kids today aren't dumb. They're not going to buy just anything. That's why the government has been planting small subliminal advertising suggestions in today's rock music. The results? We can now get these kids to buy just about anything. We can have them chasing a new trend every week. And that is good for the economy. And what's good for the economy is good for the country.
But how can you control the rock bands? What if they find out about the hidden messages in their music?
Ever wonder why so many rock stars die in plane crashes? Overdose on drugs? We've been doing this a long time. If they start to get too curious, our options are endless. Bankruptcy, shocking scandals, religious conversions. We've created a highly rated TV show just to explain what happens to these people.
Hi, this is Jordan. I want to thank you for watching my presentation at SkyFall 2020. I was blessed to do it. I hope that I was able to bless you too as well. I was under a time constraint, and because of that, there's a lot of things that I did not hit that I really truly wanted to hit. So really quick, I'm just going to give you an extra few minutes of just a few things that I really truly hope blesses you or blesses people that you know, that might help some people wake up to what's really going on. Take care and God bless.
And I want to say something else. One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. So I really want to make sure that this gets into the film. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Now, think about that. Well, I didn't give them permission. So why did they put this plan for 3 world wars on display in a book that's hanging there open behind glass in the British Museum Library of London? Because the rules state that they have to tell us what they're doing. Therefore, if we allow it to happen, we have consented to tyranny, we have consented to enslavement. Now, if you get into the secret history of the cabal, this was rediscovered by Queen Elizabeth, the original Elizabeth that we've heard about from the 1500s. Queen Elizabeth's royal astrologer, a man named John Dee, who is the prototype of the wizard with the long beard, the hat, and what he did was to rediscover, through these ancient documents that were in the Vatican, the technology of how to access what they considered to be spiritual beings that were useful to them, but what we would consider to be demonic or evil beings. These beings need to be accessed through a very complex set of rituals and ceremonies. You cannot just ask for them to show up. You have to follow very elaborate and specific protocols. If you follow those protocols, it's like having an IP address, which is what we use to go online in order to notate a website. Every website has its own IP address. These spiritual beings, such as Baal and Moloch, which they still do ceremonies for today, such as in Bohemian Grove, there is a giant effigy, stone effigy of an owl. That's the god Moloch. The god Moloch goes all the way back to Rome and Carthage, in which they were offering child sacrifices to this god in exchange for power. So John Dee rediscovered the technology of how to draw the magic circles, how to say the right incantations, how to actually do black magic on a governmental level. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic, and they are very, very good at it.
CBS News. Social media is a tool of the CIA. Seriously, it says. You don't need to wear a tinfoil hat to believe that the CIA is using Facebook, Twitter, and Google. Exclusive. Google, CIA invests in future of web monitoring. Wired. This is mainstream news. They're telling you that Google and the CIA work together. You don't think that your intel is maybe propaganda? $123 new cases. Doesn't matter. Pick any three numbers you want. I chose 1, 2, 3. 3 days ago. 123. ABC News, 9 hours ago. 123. One day ago, 123. 3 days ago, 123. Let's try a different number to just... Hey Amanda, give me 3 random numbers.
876.
876. 876 new cases. Hey, 2 weeks ago. 876. It doesn't matter, it's all fake. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. 1 day ago. There you go. That one's brand new. 876. 11 hours ago. 876. 16 hours ago. 876. We'll try one more. Give me one more random number.
666.
Okay, 666. Why not? 666 new cases. 1 week ago. 1 week ago. 1 week ago. 1 week ago. 1 day ago, right here. Just 666 new tests administered. South Carolina sees. Tennessee report says. Idaho, it doesn't matter. El Paso. Business Insider. World Health Organization says there is no need for healthy people to wear face masks. Day after the CDC told all Americans to cover their faces. Mixed messages here. This is Twitter. This is the CDC on Twitter. The CDC does not currently recommend the use of face masks to help prevent novel coronavirus. ABC News, CDC, and WHO offer conflicting advices on masks, and experts tell us why. This is California Globe. I don't really believe in a globe, but here we go. New CDC study finds majority of those infected with COVID-19 always wore masks. News break. Dr. Fauci admits health experts lied about masks at the beginning of corona pandemic.
Not to be a downer on a Friday night, but before we go, I need to tell you, those of us in New York and the Northeast, we're worried about you, our friends and our loved ones and our viewers across the country, now more than ever, really. This new COVID surge is awful. So follow the Fauci. So please, follow the Fauci. Scientists tell us the months ahead will be historically bad unless you make a personal decision to follow the Fauci. Follow the Fauci. Wear a mask, socially distance. Follow the Fauci, and we'll get through this.
Como News. Why the CDC doesn't want you to wear a mask with a vent. Because they don't want you to breathe. This is the agenda right here. We'll likely be wearing face masks, even after a COVID-19 vaccine rolls out. People need to understand that the mask comes before the mark. This is all biblical. Quite literally, it's only one letter away. M-A-S-K, M-A-R-K. You cannot go into stores to buy or sell or do anything without wearing a mask. It's the mask of the beast, okay? I'm not saying it's the mark, but it's the foreshadowing. It is what comes before the mark. Here we go. Revelations 13, 16 to 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. I'm not saying the mark is the mask. I'm saying the mask comes before the mark. The mark will be the vaccine. Combating the effect of mask wearing from PN Medical. This is real. www.pnmedical.com. The mask is the foreshadowing to the mark of the beast. Here we go. Revelation 16:2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast. Sores for the people that took the mark. Sores for people that wear the mask. Healthline.com. Healthline. Face masks may be irritating your skin. How to stop it. Health.com. Face mask skin irritation is a real thing. Here's what a dermatologist says you can do. This is why it matters. Revelations 14:10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. This is an eternal issue. You take the mark, you go to hell, and the mark is the vaccine. For more information on that, I highly recommend watching Pastor Dean Oldle's The Mark of the Beast is Here. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, feel free to share this video from Pastor Dean Oldle's page, or even share it from my page. My YouTube is www.youtube.com/SightUnveiled. That's SightUnveiled. Just have a good day. God bless.